What if you were never born? 5 interesting questions to ask yourself. There are many questions that we ask ourselves daily. The most common question is, what if I were never born? We all contemplate this question at some point in our lives. And this thought can have an impact on the direction of our lives. First question. What if you were never born? What would have been your religion? There is no religious tension for those who were never born. A newborn baby does not hold any religious beliefs. Religion is imposed on a child at birth. Children grow up with the religion as their ancestors did. Once they grow up, most of them cannot forsake their faiths even if desire to. Once born, you cannot change your lineage or get reborn if you know that your parents are the worst form of a human being. You cannot but continue. The same happens with most people of the world who have any religious identity. Second question. What if you were never born? What would have been your gender identity? How you feel and identify yourself is your gender identity. This can be as a female, male, or both. Gender is typically assigned at birth, based on a baby having the outward appearance of either a male or a female as per a social construct of a binary system of 2 genders. Children have a gender at birth, but not any gender identity. Children learn it first from the family and then from society. A deep sense of unease and distress may occur when your biological sex does not match your gender identity. This is called gender dysphoria. Some understand it, but many do not, and they cannot but continue. Third question. What if you were never born? What would be your accomplishments? Since the beginning of the world, human beings have had so many accomplishments. If those famous persons were not born, what would have been the situation? If there were no Vishnu, Moses, Buddha, Jesus, or Muhammad, what would have happened to your religions? If there were not any Einstein, Newton, Tesla, Hawking, or many others like them, what would have happened to your science? If there were no one like Aristotle, Lao Tzu, Karl Marx, Confucius, or Nietzsche, what would have happened to your philosophies? Religion, philosophy, and science have no geographical restrictions, and thus I have just named only 3 branches of knowledge. There are so many names and branches around. Innumerable. After you are born and grow up, you become an educationist, a scientist, a saint, a banker, a businessman, a literary person, a magician, or anything else. However, if you were never born, you would never be anything, and there would not have any of your contributions. So is true for others to whom the world owes a lot. There comes a question whether the world would have remained the same if they or you were never here. Fourth question. What if you were never born? What would have been your pursuits in life? The pursuits of the people run the world. Different people have different pursuits. You have pursuits of happiness, popularity, success, prestige, wealth, excellence, impact, and so on. You face lots of philosophical debates about which one should be over the other. Interestingly, you have never allowed your brain to ponder what you would have been pursuing if you were never here in this world. Have you? And finally, the last question. What if you were never born? What would have been your relationship? If you were not born, you had always been nobody to anybody. Once born, human beings started having names for relationships based on gender identification: sons or daughters, stepsons or stepdaughters, grandsons or granddaughters, brothers or sisters, nephew or niece. As they grow up, they also become fathers or mothers, brothers-in-law or sisters-in-law, husbands or wives. Thus, human beings are caught up in a network of relationships for the rest of their lives. May think what would have happened if you were not born? Would there be somebody else to act your roles, or other persons in your network of relationships were also not born? Or the whole network would have been remodeled? All those questions are hypothetical. I believe that there are no direct answers to these questions. Still, you have your reasoning to consolidate your answers. Please leave your comments down below.